Hello, everyone. Got a quick screencast here for you on the morality of war and the notes that go with it. On our title slide here, we've got this question that we want you to contemplate throughout the unit. Are there lines that even in warfare should not be crossed? Meaning, we know that war is violent, we know it's destructive, people do horrible things, but are there certain things that we as countries should forbid other nations from doing in war? That's at the center of this unit. First question we're going to ask you to think about is what is morality and where does it come from? And along with that, what would you say is a morally bad act and what is a morally good act? Obviously, there's not really a right or wrong answer to those questions or even where morality comes from because it could be different for each person. What is total war? We're going to be looking at World War II throughout this unit, and you're going to find that World War II is an example of a total war. We want you to know what that means and to be able to identify examples of total war when you come across them. Here's the definition you most commonly will see online. A war that is unrestricted in terms of the weapons used, the territory or combatants involved, or the objectives pursued, especially one in which the laws of war are disregarded. Unrestricted is our key word here. No restrictions placed on what can be done. The weapons that you choose to use could be any weapon, as I said before, because there are no restrictions. Chemical weapons, biological weapons, nuclear weapons theoretically could be used in a total war. In terms of territory, this means the war could be fought anywhere on a traditional battlefield, in a city, in a village, in a neighborhood, if it's truly a total war. Combatants involved is one of the most interesting. A combatant is anyone who's considered the enemy or a target by either side. In a restricted war, combatants are usually just soldiers. In a total war, it could be anyone participating in the war effort, it could be civilians. Lastly, in terms of the objectives pursued, if you just seek to want to defeat the other country, you're probably not fighting a total war. If you're trying to wipe them out entirely, that would be more of an extreme or total war goal. Our analogy here, it's like a game with no rules and no boundaries. The opposite side of that coin is a limited war. It is the opposite. It's a war in which weapons used, nations or territory involved, or the objectives pursued are restricted in some way, meaning there are limits placed on what you can actually do. In particular, one in which the use of nuclear weapons is avoided. With total war, nuclear weapons would be allowed, as I said before, germ warfare would be allowed, and so would any kind of chemical warfare. Not so in a limited war. The combatants that you would consider a part of the war effort would just be traditional soldiers. And your objectives, as I mentioned on the previous slide, would be about just defeating the enemy, not necessarily eliminating them entirely. Again, the analogy here is simple. It's like a game with rules and boundaries that are clear to both participants. This is just a general introduction to total and limited war. If you have any other questions, see your instructor. Thank you.